Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crystal, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I am on a lovely, wet, windy Saturday, soaked to the skin. It's cold as well, but I've still got a smile on my face. Good afternoon, everybody. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 2:33 p.m.
So it's 2:33 p.m. here in Rochester, Kent, and it's wet and it's windy and the weather is miserable. And there's not a lot you can do in weather like that. You can't do anything. It's best to stay indoors and keep warm if you possibly can. I am absolutely soaking. My boots are wet and they are muddy. And I've just gone out for 5 minutes to walk my dog this afternoon. I'm not putting my dog through hell. I just made sure that he went to the loo and that's it. Right? I got soaked in 5 minutes, head to foot. But I had my umbrella, I had my coat, had my beanie hat on, and awful weather, absolutely awful. Alexa, what's the weather outlook for this evening and tomorrow?
I don't have an answer for that.
Alexa, what's the weather prediction for tonight and tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, you can look for rain, with temperatures around 11 degrees Celsius.
At least when it's raining, guys, the temperature usually is higher. When it's raining, it's a lot warmer. So what has been going on since this morning? Not a lot. My mother called my phone and she told me to have a good day, as she usually does. There's been no post today at all, but I've still got the money my mum sent me. Yesterday I've got £40 still, so I'm being sensible and I'm going to use it wisely. I haven't been to the co-op this morning. The weather is atrocious. I didn't want to go out this afternoon, but Max needs to go to the toilet and he's house trained, so I took him outside for 5 minutes. This morning we went out for a walk and, I'm not going to get cross. I have been learning Italiano. I've been learning Italian and I've been stood there because my tablet ran out of charge, so I've been stood by the microwave doing Italian, and I've been ignoring any, what can I call it, outside annoyances, things going on that's to do with other people and not me. I'm not poking my nose in anymore. I'm just sitting down and minding my own business. I was actually watching a film before I left the flat with an Asian lady and a guy with a beard, and he just taped her up. I don't know what it's called. It's on my TV set. I don't know if it's still on. Young bearded bloke with an Asian woman, and he taped her mouth. I'm watching great movies. A great movie channel. I don't know what's on. What it's called. Well, Charlie's Angels Full Throttle is on now. I don't know if it's the same film, but Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. That is on what is on the Great Movie Channel at the moment. Bruce Willis. Better switch it off. So I live by myself, guys. I mean, you won't hear me talk a lot, except when I'm talking out loud, learning Italian. I had a photograph sent to me by Danny Luna. I've just looked at my phone. Danny Luna sent me a couple of photographs of a pajama leg and a trainer about to pop a balloon. Danny Luna, I have got your photo. I'll reply to you. I it gets cold. You heat up the flat, and then it gets cold, and I'm looking after Max, who got wet this morning, and then I toweled him dry. He's obviously got wet again. I've got to make sure my dog is okay and look after him. So I got a photograph of I think a pajama bottom leg about to pop a balloon and a smiley face. I had to walk Max, so I didn't want to get into any conversation with anybody, because then the trouble starts outside, and I wasn't in the mood for it. I'm wet, soaked, cold. I had a bacon and egg sandwich, so I cooked bacon for lunch, and I put a poached egg inside the sandwich. It was lovely as well. It was really lovely. I've made several cups of coffee. I'm trying to keep warm like everybody else is. There's no post to show you because there isn't any. What else can I say? I'm just trying to relax and rest and not get stressed out and miserable. And if anybody wants any entertainment, I suggest they go elsewhere to find it. Because I'm what can I say? I'm not taking any notice of the bullshit anymore. I told you they've put a Hoover in the bin store. They're still doing this Jennifer Genestra business. And I'm not Jennifer. My mum lives in Chatham. This is Rochester. So when I took Max out for a walk this afternoon, obviously the weather conditions are extremely terrible. Storm Bert is on the loose. Bert, B-E-R-T, Storm Bert. Fortunately, we haven't got snow here, and it was very windy this morning. I almost got blown over, but it's calmed down a bit now. It's just raining here in Rochester. So I just went out for 5 minutes, and it's horrible going out in that, really horrible. So I just walked Max really around the block, and I've come back in after about 5 minutes. Just let him go to the loo. So from now until this evening, it's just a matter of just keeping warm, keeping yourself motivated and not sinking to the level that they used to drive me to many months ago now. Just having nothing to do with it. And I take my dog out for a walk. I don't, you know what I mean? So it's not my dog barking in the building. My dog's with me and he's not barking. I went out of the flats and you could hear dogs barking. I came home and I haven't heard that dog on the corner for ages. There's a woman with a dog on the corner. She normally comes out with her mobile and her dog goes woof woof. It was woofing inside the flat as I was coming back into the flat. Right? I'm happy by myself. I've got no intentions of looking for anybody anymore. I'm quite happy by myself. I like the way I look. I like myself. What I look like is my business, and they just need to get a grip of their own lives and get on with their lives, because it shouldn't be involving me, should it? This is my life. It's not a comedy show. It's not a fucking Big Brother set. It's my life, and I will ignore people that annoy me. You know, ignore them. Right? I'm not, you know, they need me. They need me. What do they want me to be, a performing circus animal? Because they just try to provoke, annoy, be rude, whatever, and I just, you know, do what you got to do and do it without me, yeah? I'm like everybody else. I'm struggling to heat my home. I'm struggling to wash my clothes in this shitty weather. I haven't got a tumble dryer. They get dried inside the flat. I have to put the heating on and stick my washing just over the radiators or near the radiators to get my washing dry, which can make rooms and walls mouldy. right? So I'm just like everybody else. I haven't got a garden. I've got a balcony, and you can't really put a line across the balcony. So I haven't got a line, a washing line. I put a couple of when the weather's windy but it's dry. I put a couple of dryers on the balcony and put my clothes on that. My washing machine is broken. I refuse to get another one because every time I get a washing machine, I come back from the shops and it's broken. And the first the machine that went was almost brand new. So it's not because I won't buy a washing machine. It's because I can't. It's because I won't. Right? So I'm happy. I'm well fed. I don't want to speak to my mother right now. I spoke to her last night going across the field in the pitch black, and I won't be doing that this evening because the field will be muddy and I don't want to slip over and fall over. So we won't be going on the field this evening. We'll just be walking around the block. And all these people want you to do is to give them a performance so they can laugh. Which isn't very nice, is it? Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
I think that's going to be a really interesting potential outcome of the Trump administration and the Department of Government Efficiency. And what may look from the outside world like the appointment of people that could get labelled as climate deniers, because
like his energy secretary,
the new energy secretary Chris Wright, is not a climate denier, but if you read very clearly what he's saying, it's very much in line with the UN IPCC in terms of the science. But the story actually about efficiency and productivity and competitiveness is what the US is starting to drive towards. By the way, it's also what Europe has to drive towards, because we don't, everybody knows this, but just to repeat it, we don't, as Europe, the UK and Europe, we're not big energy generators. We import almost all of our energy. In the UK, about 76% of it, and our import dependency is going up, not down. We don't buy it from Russia anymore because we can't buy it from America. But this concept of efficiency is so critical. Like if the European Commission understands this, I'm not sure the UK government does, so if they're listening, please give us a call on Monday. But if we actually cut the amount of energy that we are using, not because to do less, but just because we waste less, and that's what Europe is now saying, energy efficiency first.
Yes.
We then need cut costs, improve productivity, improve reliability, and by the way, and this will be the gotcha moment in the US, by the way, that saves more carbon more quickly at much lower cost than building shiny new things.
Understood. And what about fiduciary duty on asset managers to actually invest for a return for their people who've invested in their funds rather than focusing on green issues?
I'm afraid that the job of an institutional investor, I am one, is to make money for their investors, not to sacrifice returns on the altar of the environment.
It doesn't have to be
It doesn't have to be, and this is my point. If you focus on finding technologies, applications and projects that actually cut costs, improve productivity, make more money than business as usual because they waste less, that's where the money should flow. Now, as it happens, do you know how much money's been invested in renewable energy in the grid in the last 20 years? $9 trillion, right? About 6 trillion, huge numbers, into renewable energy, about the rest of it into the grid, which is to be celebrated, but it hasn't had that much impact, if any, on greenhouse gas emissions. The handbrake turn the world needs is just to actually take drastic, quick, cost-effective, profitable action, and that, I'm afraid, is possible. And if that is one of the outcomes, it might be slightly counterintuitive, but if it's one of the outcomes of legislators saying thou must not spend shareholder capital, waste it, instead focus on things that can actually produce returns, it's not all bad. Of course, the sentiment that we should all care about the environment and climate is critical, but actually the practicality of delivering it on a cost-effective basis, I'm all in favour of.
Chrissy, are you going to keep the faith?
I am, yes. I'm pleased that Jonathan has brought it down to essentially what it is all about, really, is the almighty buck. It's always about money.
Yes.
But what I'm disappointed about is the idea that us individuals, are we not given the tools that we need to make that difference? Is it all going to be about less waste, and all the institutions and the governments are letting us down because their efficiency and everything will be driven by money. The individuals are being driven by the principle. So we want to be able to do the stuff. So make it profitable. If you make it profitable for a government to recycle or use less waste, I'm not an expert like your expert is there, but just as a housewife, make it profitable and we'll keep doing it.
Thank you very much indeed, Chrissy. I think it was a very, very interesting call and I appreciate it. Graham says this: I'm concerned about climate change, but we have the most expensive energy prices in the world. We need a social tariff for the poor, says Graham in Bradford. Might even pick that after the break. Is the fight against climate change losing its appeal? COP29 coming in the dying stages. I'm in conversation with Jonathan Maxwell, the founder of Sustainable Development Capital Limited, that focuses on the energy transition and in energy efficiency. If you've got a question for him, you've still got about 12 minutes to go. 0345 6060973. Text 84850. Ask Alexa to send a comment to LBC. You're listening to Ali Raj in conversation with Jonathan Maxwell on LBC 248.
Coming up at 3 on LBC, Vanessa Feltz.
Rachel Reeves claimed she was an economist on her CV and in interviews. In fact, she really worked in customer relations in the complaints department of Halifax. Does everybody embroider their resume?
Vanessa Feltz on LBC.
Lovely gift. Must have taken ages to wrap.
He does love go-karts.
How much was it?
Just £236.
So guys, I'm just trying to relax on a wet Saturday afternoon. I'm on my own. I choose to be so, and I'm happy. And I've got no problems, no complaints, and I'm not moaning. And I would like to say a big thank you to my followers on TikTok and on YouTube, the genuine ones. I'd also like to say thank you to people on Star Maker for listening to me singing. And sharing my music and listening to it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all later.